Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Finally, Heads Up Play, episode number 32. It's been a minute.
It has been a minute,
It
and
has
it's
been a minute. It's been 10 or 11 days now since episode 31. We are back, though.
it's my fault. My fault.
It is not all your fault. I mean,
It's
it's mostly your fault, but I mean, let's just say it's all your fault. But you know what? It happens. It happens.
happens.
Why don't you go ahead and tell us? Well, ladies and gentlemen, Sam, Sweaty Boy, Sam here with you, joined as always by Cowboy, aka John Rivers Nicks, aka Cowboy.
Yep.
How has your week? It's been good and it's been bad a little bit, but how has your time off since the last episode been?
Man, since y'all saw me, I've been to Las Vegas. I went to got home from Las Vegas and got the flu immediately. I met some interesting characters while in Las Vegas. Actually, met three celebrities. And I'm gonna go in order on who I met and how I met them. First off, right off the bat, we saw gosh, this microphone, everybody.
Willem Dafoe.
I saw William Defoe. We getting onto the plane from Atlanta to Las Vegas, and there he is, first class. I mean, second row. There's William Defoe on his lap, and I just kind of start freaking out. I'm like, oh my god, that's the Green Goblin. And we make eye contact. And y'all got to realize, both me and Sam, we are from small town Alabama. You
I've
don't
never
really-
been that close to a celebrity ever in my
you
life.
don't see celebrities kind of like well when we see one, we're gonna not freak out, but we're gonna be like, oh god, that's the Green Goblin. So
How many people? Because you said that you kind of saw him passing through in the aisle of the plane, right?
yeah,
Did you look around and kind of see how many other people kind of looked like they noticed? Did you seem like you were the only one?
I think I was the first one, and then after me, everybody was like, oh my god, that is him because he had his head down, and I could tell by his like because he has a noticeable forehead and just facial features, and we made eye contact, and the eye contact was, "Don't you dare say it." Like I know you know. I don't want other people to know. And I was like, "Oh, okay."
Yes, sir. Can
And
I get your autograph, Mr. Green Goblin?
so I met the Green Goblin. Then I went for a work convention and at said work convention was Braves legend Dale Murphy. That was pretty cool. Now I was not. That was the last thing I was expecting. Met Dale Murphy. Got an autographed baseball from Dale Murphy. That was pretty legit. And then went to Fremont Street on the Strip. I probably met the coolest celebrity. I met the D's Nuts guy.
Be nuts.
And
Got him.
he looked like he was on crack. He
I mean, look, let's be real. He's always looked like he's on crack, but he must live out there or something. I mean,
he was just
he's
walking
like,
around with like a beer and just like people would walk. He'd walk up to people like, as soon as I said, "Hey, like, hey, that's the D's Nuts guy." He walks up to me or the dude I was with and goes, "Hey, man," and like try to dab him up. And when you go to dab him up, he grabs his nuts and goes, "Ah, got him," and like just goes around to different like hops from pods to people like boom, 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 and he just got him. He does that, but it was a pretty good trip. And then I came home and got flu. Uh,
so what was your impression of Las Vegas? Because Las Vegas is maybe my favorite city in America that I've been to personally.
it gives Fremont Street gives me Bourbon Street vibes, like a clean. I'm not calling Fremont Street clean, but it's cleaner than Bourbon Street.
Much cleaner than Bourbon Street for sure.
It gives me a cleaner. It gives me like an out west Bourbon Street vibe.
I like that. I like that. Yeah, I've always loved Vegas. I've only been one time, but the one time that I went, it was so much fun. It is extremely
Oh
expensive,
my god!
though.
Thank
I
God it
mean,
was a work trip.
you dropped some dimes going to Las Vegas, and you can tell. I remember when I went. There's all sorts of clubs. Like a lot of the big casinos there, like Caesar's Palace, has a massive club. I think it's called. I want to say it's called the Omni or something like that.
It's something like that. Yeah, because
And uh,
I saw
and people can get in left and right, but the clientele there is all rich, like trust fund, 28-year-olds. It's ridiculous. people going there spending money left and right. You don't really see people our age in Vegas very often. You might see
That
some
and
younger people with
families.
the parents.
I didn't see
You
families.
don't see families very much because I mean, there's nothing for kids to do. You know, it's definitely an adult's vacation and an expensive one. But there has been quite a bit going on. Let's start off kind of right.
Start off with a RIP OJ Simpson.
R.I.P. O.J. Simpson. Let me ask you this. Let's talk about O.J. for just a second since you brought it up. Is O.J. Simpson a murderer?
I'm I'm not saying he's not a murderer, I'm not saying he is a murderer, but my favorite quote that he ever dropped was, he don't like living in Los Angeles because he does not like the fact knowing that he might be next to his wife's killer." I'm telling you, OJ, my favorite OJ moment of all time is that interview he does with, got what her name is from NBC, and she asks, "Are you the killer, OJ?" "No, I'm not the killer." "Why do people think I'm the killer?" And she said, "Then he played a joke on me, and it stuck with me ever since." He, like, bangs on the door with a banana and goes, "Eek, eek, eek, eek." Like, OJ, I don't know.
I always love the Family Guy skit where Peter Griffin wins like a round of golf with him, and he's like, "I just want to be left alone, man."
And then he
Um,
stabs 2
so
people.
yeah, I look not to get too far in the weeds on a taboo subject, but look, there were some things going on around that time that I think kind of swayed some minds, which may prevented OJ from going to jail. But we're not going to get into that.
The juice is not loose no more.
Did you remember Shrek 2 when they spoofed the white Bronco?
Well, you got a white, Bronco
Mm.
go down there.
So our last episode, we kind of previewed the national championship a little bit. UConn and Purdue, basically the
Unfortunately,
top two teams that were left in the NCAA tournament. UConn, of course, runs away with it. So congrats to UConn. I think if anybody, look, you and I kind of picked Purdue a little bit. We kind of, kind of picked the upset, but dude, I mean, once that game got going, nobody was
I
beating UConn.
originally picked Bama because, I don't give a piss about nothing but the Tide,
That's right.
um, but, like you said, congrats to UConn, but speaking of the Tide, let's get into a little bit of, coaching carousel in the SEC because we talked about it a little bit on the last episode, but it was not to our knowledge what happened because at the time, the biggest head coaching move was Eric Musselman going from Arkansas to USC, which was at the time a great move for USC, I thought. And then out of nowhere, you get a tweet saying Calipari's talking. John Calipari from Kentucky, the John Calipari is talking to Arkansas, and boom, like that. And within 24 hours, your new head coach at Arkansas is John Calipari. In less than 6 months, you had Alabama looking for a new football coach and Kentucky looking for a basketball coach. What a time to be alive.
There is a difference, however, in the caliber of coach that replaced the coach that left. And we'll get into it. But look, Calipari, look, Kentucky came out and said, "Hey, we're committed to Calipari. Cal, he's done a lot for the program, won a national championship, blah blah blah." And that kind of shut a lot of the rumors down. But with Musselman going to USC, that opened a door, and it was not immediate after Musselman left for USC that Arkansas just went and you know coach hunting. They couldn't get a few guys. I
They
mean, they were
missed
getting
out.
some guys turning you
Nate
down.
Oates, Rick Pitino.
Excuse me, I'm talking Arkansas.
Oh,
Arkansas
oh,
here.
oh, oh,
Arkansas was not getting some guys, and then their AD just came out and said he was like, "I just thought, why not give Calipari a call?" And of course, there are two big companies headquartered in Arkansas, and it's about it. Walmart with the Walton boys and the
and them
Walton
chi
family, and
and
Tyson
them
Chicken,
and them chickens, baby.
and some chicken fingers, some frozen chicken fingers
Ooh,
got
Billy.
Calipari over there. Oh, he looked like he was so embarrassed doing that.
It was
He
it I wasn't a fan of it.
But yeah, so Calipari to Arkansas, I actually like it
I
for
think
Calipari. I
for
think it's a great
Calipari
hire
and
for
Arkansas, I
Arkansas.
think it's great, yeah.
I think it rejuvenates him. It takes a lot of pressure off of him from Big Blue Nation. Um, and then Kentucky goes out, and this was very similar to Alabama's coaching search after Nick Saban retired and how fast it took place, right? And you're hearing things left and right every single day. Maybe not to the caliber of Alabama, but I mean, right up there with just news constantly coming out. The first big name checked off was Nate Oates.
Nate Oates,
Everybody knew Nate Oates was the number one guy they were going to go after. Either he was the most realistic guy, and you and I were both kind of scared. Like, I mean, we both kind of knew he wouldn't go, but I'd be lying if I didn't think like, I mean, it's Kentucky now, and he comes out, basically, I kind of maybe I think it's a couple hours before the national championship game, and said, "Hey, no, I'm sticking with Alabama."
he
Uh,
was the Dan Lanning of this because it was Vegas had him. Everybody was like, "Oh, Nate Oates, Nate Oates." Like nobody even thought no one else. Everybody's like, "Nate Oates, Nate Oates. That's Nate Oates' job to have."
and as Alabama fans, we of course loved that, ate it up. Um, all I could say in that regard is build the arena, get it done one way or the other. I will pay $5 and chip in. I
Yeah,
will do it. Um, but and then some other names came up. The next big one that really kind of gained some steam was Scott Drew from Baylor. He even had like I think Scott Drew actually sent his family, like his wife and kids or something, to Lexington, is what I heard, to like
that one
check
was
out the town.
close. Yeah, that one was close.
And he basically he prayed on it, so and so, which usually means it ain't happening. So Scott Drew gets shut down. I don't know if they tried Dan Hurley. You have to try Dan Hurley. I mean, he's the hottest name in basketball right now. He was not going to go whatsoever, but you have to try him.
Rick
There was some
Pitino,
rumblings about Patino.
he said
He
no.
he said no.
He made a video and came out and said, "I declined the job."
Billy Donovan would have been a slam dunk hire in my opinion, but the Bulls were at the time in a play in situation. I don't know if they still are.
They won
What
last night, so they are still in the play-in situation tomorrow night. Jay
so
Wright, Jay Wright was another
Jay,
that was a big one. Everybody was like, "Jay Wright, is about Jay Wright."
that probably would have been the best hire out of it all, but he
Besides
seems
Nate
like he
Oates,
does not want to be back in coaching, let alone with the expectations of Kentucky. And then here we go. I guess it was what was it? Maybe Thursday of last week, maybe a week ago today. News comes out that Kentucky is hiring
BUS.
Mark Hope. Who? This look, Mark Pope did a pretty good job at BYU. Don't get me wrong. But the whole like reason that Kentucky fans were upset with Calipari was because he was not winning tournament games. Mark Pope has never won an NCAA tournament game in his entire career. He played at Kentucky in the 90s. That's the only reason he got the job. The only reason that he was considered for the
Yeah,
job.
he was even interviewed. Yeah,
Yeah. And I guess he blew him away in the interview or whatever, or they just got desperate or a little bit of both. But to me, I'm going to be honest. Mitch Barnhart, the AD, screwed this one up like terribly. This is I'm not going to give it an F because, I mean, it's not like they went out and got like a losing coach.
yeah,
But
but
this is like
still,
a D minus coaching hire. This is bad. This is like Alabama hiring Mike Shula.
this is a this is a downfall of Kentucky. You'll see Kentucky kind of fumble. He, he will not be at Kentucky in 5 years. In my
No, I mean I'd give it 3 years max. If he struggles, I mean in year one, he's done for. I mean it's a that Big Blue Nation. th-
opinion.
There's some tough fans, man. They're hard to please, and they're angry right now. They're ornery. It's a little bit different than Alabama fans. I know a lot of people like to come for Alabama fans and the high expectations, but see, at least we've been spoiled for a little bit. Where right now, a lot of us are kind of okay with some losing. I don't want to say losing seasons, but like if we go 9-3, a lot of us will be fine. Some will be mad, but like Kentucky fans are antsy right now. And you're
Something
right. I think.
something I read about Kentucky, why they turned like the big turning point on Calipari, why the NIL money stopped. I don't know if you read this. They said back when Oscar Tshiebwe, remember him, the big center,
Mhm.
when he was playing for Kentucky at the time, they had a booster who was running for office in I want to say Lexington or something like a senator in Kentucky. He wanted to use Oscar as political, like in a commercial, and Calipari said, "No, no, I don't want to use my players in politics. Like, that's a little bit out." And they said they lost their shit on Calipari. Said it
Hmm.
was a screaming match. Said it was bad. That they said
That
that was the day Calipari was going to be done in Kentucky.
that's see, I agree with him on that though. I mean, I wouldn't want my players to be going in and doing stuff like that, but yeah, look, college basketball has been the news has slowed down, but I mean around the second, half going from like the Sweet 16 into the national championship and after there was a lot of news. I'm really excited for this upcoming season of college basketball. But the transfer portal opened up soon after that, and there's been some big names in and out. Poor old Alabama. We'll be lucky to have one of our starters back. That's if Grant Nelson decides to come
That's
back.
yeah, yeah.
So
My
Rylan Griffin entered the portal. That was totally unexpected. Sam
yeah,
Walters. I don't want to say that was totally unexpected. I mean, he's a Florida kid. Apparently grew up a Florida fan.
who else? You had
Nick Pringle.
Pringle, you had Chris Parker, David Crosby. Oh, oh, the roof is on fire. The roof,
Shut up!
them dogs are barking. Arr, arr, arr.
Took me forever to move my mouse over from my other screen to press the mute button. Somebody's probably walking around outside. Apologies, everybody. Um. Anyways, go dogs.
Go dogs.
um. So there was also the women's college basketball national championship. Um, and the South Carolina Gamecocks won that. I do believe we talked about
You
that
talk
one.
about that, how the SEC
Um,
runs the women college basketball.
the SEC does run women's college basketball, but the best player belonged to the Iowa Hawkeyes
And she was just recently drafted number 1 to the Indiana Fever.
with a massive contract of 300 something $1,000 over 4 years. That
They
is
got
minor league baseball money.
they gotta do something about that, man. Like, it's almost insane to me on 'cause it's what she's gonna get paid that, but the owner is gonna make so much money off of Caitlin Clark. We have a
Oh
special
yeah, for sure. I
we have a
mean, there
special
will
guest
be
in the studio today.
yeah, that's one of those annoying dogs. Um, so look, she's gonna make a kill. She's probably already made millions of dollars, but she's got brand deals left and right. She's gonna make her money. But salary wise, yeah, it's a little sad with the WNBA, and we don't want to get into like politics and
Whatnot.
what and pay for women and all that. But I mean, someone with Caitlin Clark's ability and what she brings to the table and the eyes that she brings, she should be making some more money. But you do have to understand, it's kind of all the Indiana. What is it? Indiana Fever? Is that what they
Yeah.
are? Kind of all they have.
Yeah, they're not good. That I wanna say they had the number 1 pick last year too as well.
So what do we got next? Team USA was
Yeah,
announced.
but the Team USA roster was announced. Have you seen this roster?
Yes, I have. And look, it's stacked every single year or every single Olympics. I mean,
Hasn't been this stacked in a while.
not this way. I mean, Devin Booker, Curry, Anthony Davis, Durant, Anthony Edwards, Joel Embiid, Drew Holiday, LeBron, Kawhi Leonard, Jason Tatum, Adebayo. Is that how you pronounce that? Bam
Bailey.
Adebayo,
Yeah, yeah.
and then Tyrese Halliburton.
Yep.
I mean, like, look. Yeah, so you had the dream team in the '90s, and then what was it, like, the 20 was it the
2012,
2012
2012.
team that was really, really good? And then
I
this one's right up there with those.
would almost say this team's better than 20, well, Hall of Famers. Okay. Hall of Famers on this list, you have Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, Joel Embiid, LeBron James, Kawhi Leonard. I got 5 so far. I'm gonna give you the next. Bam will not be a Hall of Famer. I don't think Devin Booker will be a Hall of Famer. Give me Anthony Davis as a Hall of
You
Famer.
think Anthony Davis would be a Hall of Famer?
Give me Anthony Davis, 6. I wanna say he was in, and then
Would Jason Tatum be a
I think Jason Tatum will be one eventually. Give me 7. 7? That's not 7 out of the 12, that's not bad.
I mean, now look, I'll say this, and not like I'm keeping up with it left and right, but some of those European countries are getting good at basketball. Um,
Canada is gonna be really good this year. Canada and
so
France. Watch out for France.
I mean, it's not like they're gonna, they're probably gonna go undefeated and win every game they play, or whatever. But um,
I'm about to tell
I
you
mean, this
the
is
2012 team. You tell me which one you think is better.
okay.
You have Tyson Chandler, Kevin Durant, LeBron. Yeah, remember this isn't 2012. This was when they were in their prime. Like now, it's kind of like LeBron's old.
Hmm.
You have LeBron, Russell Westbrook, Darren Williams, Andre Iguodala, Kobe Bryant, RIP, Kevin Love, James Harden, Chris Paul, Anthony Davis, Carmelo Anthony. After looking
I'd
at
probably give the
this
edge to
roster,
twenty.
give me the 2012.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with that one, not by much. I mean, this one's really good, but that one, like,
Uh,
there's
so
some
what do we
names.
have? We had seven Hall of Famers. Okay. On this one, you have Kevin Durant, Hall of Famer, LeBron, Hall of Famer, Russell Westbrook, Hall of Famer, Kobe, Hall of Famer, Harden, Hall of Famer, Chris Paul, Anthony Davis, Carmelo Anthony. Yeah, you already beat it. And I haven't even mentioned Kevin Love, Tyson Chandler, who might be a Hall of Famer. Yeah, give me the 2012 team.
Yeah, that's they're either way, they're stacked, and the Olympics is always fun. How do you pay attention to the Olympics when they come on? I find myself never really truly keeping up
So
with it.
I watch the basket. I don't keep up on like what's the gold count.
Yeah.
I watch like okay, I watch basketball. I watch the swimming. I watch the swimming. I'll maybe watch the relay, and that's about it. I'll maybe
Yeah.
watch, like, the beach volleyball or something like that, but I really only watch the swimming and the basketball.
I most certainly watch swimming. I don't know why, I I
I
feel
like
like
it because it's fast. It's, like, fast.
yeah, I think that's like the number one sport that people like associate the Olympics with. I never watched the Winter Olympics. I'm sorry, I don't watch it. Um, and then the Summer Olympics, yeah, I'll watch some of the swimming and like some of the bigger sports. But like I'm like you, I don't get into like, oh, who's won the most golds and and like look at the players and stuff. But
It's one of
um,
those things, like, I'll check 'em out. I'll be, like, curious, like, "Hey, I wonder what the count is," but I don't look it up at the end of every day, but, like, we've won in a bronze in, archery, and then art like, I could really give a rat's ass. But, let's talk a little bit of NBA. Have you seen about Giante Porter?
so yes, um, what is with people betting on themselves to do bad? I mean, John Tip this betting $80,000 on
Only
himself
under.
on his under. I forget. I don't know what the under was, like his points amount was,
I don't know if it was points, if it was,
minutes or what.
it was his minutes.
I feel like he'd have more control over points rather than minutes because obviously he can control whether or not he makes a basket. Um, but I mean, 80. I mean, you're betting on yourself to
Apparently, when he was on the
do
G
negative.
League when he was on his G League team, from January to March, he placed at least 13 bets. I love it. I love it. I mean, wow. What do you expect to happen? I don't walk into a when I was in Vegas this week, I'm like, okay, let me think of some player props. Okay, LeBron, 5.5 over assists. Deontay Porter. Put 80,000 on Deontay Porter. Like, you know something. Like, you knew somebody was gonna catch on.
So, it really depends on where he made the bet. You know, if he's making like an online bet or if he's betting at a big Vegas casino, it might slip through the cracks. He probably had someone else make the bet for him. You know, like that Alabama coach, the baseball coach, bet I think it was like 10,000, maybe it was $100,000
It was a lot. It was like 100 or something like
you
that.
know, on his team to lose, and he bet it at a casino in Cincinnati, Ohio. Nobody bets on college baseball to begin with. Yeah, let me bet on Alabama, an irrelevant, unranked team to lose to LSU. $100,000. Like that automatically says I know something you don't. But people are making,
See,
there's
think
some
I
people
think
out in
I
Vegas
heard
that
this
do some
Deontay
crazy stuff.
Porter thing, if you went to a Vegas thing and said, put $80,000 on a play you've never heard of.
Oh, eyebrows are going to be raised. 100%.
That's just crazy to me.
What I mean, there is just this new, world of sports gambling that has just taken over the world within the past 4 years. I mean, everybody wants to to gamble on sports to a degree. Um, I mean, look at the Keishon Butte, LSU, and his thousands and thousands of bets. Look at the Otani situation. I mean, this sports gambling thing's got to be taken under control with people who are in the industry, like actual players and coaches and stuff. Because I mean, this is kind of getting a little out of hand. You're seeing more and more and more of these stories come out.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, it's coming out more. Are you watching the, NBA play-ins right now?
I have taken a quick look at them. Kind of give me an update about what's going on right now. What are some of the big news stories right now?
Um, so it seems like to me, there's been 2 sets of games, like
Hmm.
7 versus 8, 9 versus 10. 7 versus 8, really good game. 9 versus 10's been blowout, and that's been on both nights. So tomorrow night, you have the Pelicans play the Kings, aka you really need to watch that one. Let me tell you why. As a Bama fans, you wanna watch this because both
Yeah, heard
starting
about been there.
you have her for the Pelicans, and then for the Sacramento Kings, a name you have not heard in a while, Keon Ellis.
Oh,
You remember him?
yes, I of course.
He starts off for the Kings now. He has played a Herb Jones-like role now for the Kings, and he is was an undrafted free agent now starting in the playoffs.
Oh, good for him. I'm just glad the Orlando Magic are in the playoffs. Shout out J Dub.
Yeah, with the prediction. And then, you have the Bulls. Let me see who the Bulls are playing tomorrow.
Bulls are playing the Hawks.
No, they lost. No,
Oh,
the Bulls, they beat the crap out of Hawks
oh, of
last
course
night.
they did. So then the
It's
Bulls
the
would
Bulls
play
versus
the
the Heat.
Celtics,
The
the
Heat.
Heat.
The Heat. So what
LSU
happened
Heat.
was
Oh, I see.
if you won the 7 versus 8 game, you automatically went to the second you went to play the second seed team. If you lost, you had to play the winner of the 9-10 game. And
I see.
if you lost in the 9-10 game, you're done.
I see. Okay.
Then then the winner of the games tomorrow night between the Bulls, Heat, Kings, Pelicans play the 1 seed.
Who is your favorite? Who are you picking right now to win it all?
Um, I'm still sticking strong with my preseason prediction between Celtics Nuggets. Give me the Nuggets.
Okay.
What about you?
Think I'm gonna go with the Celtics on this one. Um,
Do you
they're
have
just so good.
do you have a team do you think that is gonna bust, that is not gonna do as well as that's gonna get upset? My upset probably will be the Thunder or give me probably give me the Knicks.
I could see the Thunder getting kind of knocked out. I mean, as the 1 seed. Um, I
Either
mean,
them or maybe the Bucks. Bucks are gonna be hurting without Giannis for a couple of games.
yeah, that's interesting. The thing about the NBA playoffs is they are just so long. I mean, it is a grind. It goes goes for a
It
while.
does. It most definitely does.
It's like a whole different season in and of itself. But we're kind of in the thick of it now, um, in Major League Baseball.
I saw it was like 10% of the season's done.
Isn't that crazy to say? I mean, that 20 games is 10% of the season.
Jesus
Um,
Christ.
I guess it's more like maybe 15 or somewhere around there. But yeah, so our Braves are currently sitting atop the NL East
Well, 12 games.
by 2 games, I believe. Yeah, 2 games over the Phillies, who have kind of heat up a little bit recently. Both 7-3 over the last 10 games. The Mets have also seemed to pick it up a little bit. They're 8-2 over their last 10. They've won 4 in a row. Took a series against the Braves in Atlanta. What teams though have impressed you so far to date? Because I've got a few.
Let me look. Of course, I'm gonna go with the Cleveland Guardians. Both them and the Royals have done very well. I would have said the Tigers, but they've cooled off. Um, teams okay, that's my impressed teams. Them, and
Okay.
then I'm impressed with the Pirates. Of course, Pirates are 11-8. What about you? They
Yeah, I'm right there with you.
they don't tell my teams I'm disimpressed with, not
Okay.
impressed with.
Okay. Sure. Yeah. So the teams that have impressed me, or I'll say exceeded expectations, because I mean we can look at, of course, teams like the Dodgers, the Braves. Of course, they've impressed just based off records, but we knew that they would probably be sitting here right now where they're at. The Brewers, I don't think a lot of people, including myself, expected them to be
Yeah.
number one in the Central right now in the National League, which is for sure probably the most competitive division in Major League Baseball right now. I mean, Brewers are 11-6, 11-7 are the Cubs, Pirates 11-8. The Reds are still, they're 9-9, but they're still expected to be really good. Cardinals have not picked it up from last year. They're sitting at the bottom. They're 9-10, but who knows? That's only one game under 500. Um, so really, those top three teams in the Central, Milwaukee, Chicago, and Pittsburgh, have impressed me for sure, exceeded expectations. Um, Cleveland as well. I mean, 13-6. No, I was not expecting. Cleveland has kind of underachieved within the past few years. They seem like they're doing better now. And I told everybody a few weeks ago, don't sleep on these Kansas City Royals. They made some great moves in the offseason. Bobby Witt Jr. has really come into himself. He is playing at a superstar level. Um, so yeah, I mean, those are some of the teams that have really impressed me. But what are some that have disappointed you? Some that have um, underachieved.
Most people would say, well, Miami Marlins are the ones that at this point I had them finishing 4th, 4-15. I'm not really too shocked. We both kind of predicted they had no hitting. The team, in my opinion, that is probably the worst team out there right now, and they just got swept by the Atlanta Braves is the Houston Astros, sitting
What's
at
going on?
6-14.
Yeah. Look, is it time to hit the panic button if you're a Houston Astros fan?
I think it is.
I'm right there with you. I was listening to MLB Network Radio this morning. They said that they didn't think it was quite time to smash the panic button, but they were that close to it. I think it is 100% time. I don't understand why so many people will say, "Oh, yeah, things will pick up, going forward." Um, you're 6-14. You're 8 games under 500. You can't win a division in April, but you sure can lose it. And they have put themselves in a deep, deep hole. They've got to go on a big stretch of, to get caught up just to get to 500. So
But I'm gonna tell
I
you I'll tell you another team that's disappointing, and that they're my Astros in the National League, the
okay.
Cincinnati Reds.
They've just point I okay. So I think they'll pick it up. I mean, they're 9-9, but yes, so far they have disappointed. I thought they would have one of the best records in baseball right now. I would
I
agree.
definitely thought they were getting a little bit overhyped, but to be 9-9 is a little mind-blowing to me.
Yeah, I mean, you look at some of the players that they have with Ellie and um it's either the Reds pitching is always kind of underwhelmed a little bit. I mean, guys like Hunter Green, Graham Ashcraft, Nick Lodolo, like they got some pitching, but they just have not lived up to expectations. Um, but back to the Astros. Look, this all runs come to an end. You can extend them as long as you can. I mean, you can be like the Braves, win 14 straight division titles. But eventually things are gonna wear out. And look, they're gonna get Justin Verlander back. He's supposed to start tomorrow, but I don't think that's really gonna be enough to like, you know, maybe it sets them on a
Make a
huge run. I
difference.
don't know, but and I don't think that they'll be like sellers, come July if they're sitting in last place. I think that would be something for next year. But um,
If they
if
could
you,
do it, if they could do a comeback, it'd be in that division. I mean, you only have the Rangers 11-9 in first place.
yeah, yeah. Look, I mean, if they pull out some like last wild card spot in the American League going into the postseason, and they pull, uh, I mean, everybody be sitting there going, the Astros are still in this thing. It is the Astros. It is
Yeah,
Kyle Tucker. It is Jose Altuve. It is Alex Bregman. It is Jordan Alvarez.
and
Like those guys still are in that lineup. Their bullpen has just been total ass cheeks. I mean, that's what blow each game in the Braves series.
yeah, but some of that, I don't even know if that's the bullpen's fault. I feel like that was misuse of the bullpen.
Sure, sure, and it's a first year manager. So I mean, maybe he's got some things to figure out.
He
I
does
don't
have some
know.
big shoes to follow with Dusty Baker. You're right about that.
Um, but let's talk a little bit of hitching stuff. Um, I do believe we talked about it on our last episode.
Tommy
Um,
John,
Spencer Strider goes down for the season. He did not get Tommy John. He got an internal brace surgery. The recovery time is a lot quicker than a Tommy John, but he's still out for the whole season. He would realistically, hopefully, be back by opening day of next year. But that is a big loss for sure. What are your for the Braves? Do you, what are you, has anything changed with Strider going down? Who's impressed you on the Bravos? Who's
Darius Vines. If I swear to God, if we put Allen wins back, if we ever put Allen wins back out there, we're just trying to punt and lose that game on purpose.
yeah? So and I forgot a minute. I was at that game that Winan started last week, against the Mets. Um, oh my God,
That
you
was.
got to trade him. You got to get rid of him. I'm
I feel like
sorry.
we're still holding on to that game he had against the Mets last year.
Well, I mean that was an offensive explosion, so you can't really like say that he was great in that. Um, Reynaldo Lopez has impressed me. I mean, he's made 3 starts now, pitched 6 or more innings in each of them, given up only 1 run. That 1 run was in an ice cold game in Chicago. He's been lights out.
He's been great. He's been great. He has really been the best pitcher, like you said, we've had better than Freed. Freed's had it. Freed has struggled this year.
Yeah.
Sale's had his moments, which we expected from an older Chris Sale. Charlie Morton is going to do what Charlie Morton does. Um, but Lopez has been our most consistent one, especially this year. But for the Braves, something I've preached though that what scares me: bullpen, 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 bullpen.
Yeah, been really good at times and really bad at others. Thankfully been really good most times.
Been really bummer.
Yeah, Aaron Bummer has had some bad moments so far.
He
I
hasn't
mean,
had a
like
good moment. Yes.
yeah, I mean, he came in, in that second game against the Astros, and was up 6-0 or 6-1, and couldn't get an out. And like we paid some good money for Aaron Bummer. I mean, it wasn't cheap to get him. I mean,
So
even
we
for
gave up
Brave
a lot.
standards.
We gave up a lot. Gave
Yeah,
up Soroka, Nicky Lopez, Brandon Shoemaker for a 6.75 ERA.
yeah, yeah. Not great. And look, Raisel Iglesias is, I mean, to this point, he's starting to give me 2022 Kenley Jansen vibes, right?
I
Like he's
told you,
gonna go out there and he's gonna get the save, but like It ain't without a little bit of
Cody
heartbeat.
Iglesias does not give me closer vibes, he gives me setup vibes.
Yeah, and for a while, I thought Minter could be more closer
Minter,
to a save to
if
a
he can't pitch in Texas, Minter is not there.
yeah, I would love for us to go out and get a true closer. Um, I mean, look, Rysel does the job, but like I said, it's not with a little bit of uh, heartache for sure.
I mean, of our best relief pitcher is, the old veteran Jesse Chavez with a 1.9.
Jesse Chavez or Pierce Johnson.
Yeah, one of those 2.
Matzik's done pretty good. He's had a couple hiccups, but for the most part, he's done well.
And maybe we're just being over analytical with our bullpen since it's our team, but I just feel like our bullpen gives up a lot of runs, like unnecessary. Maybe, and I know other bullpens do it as well, but like when I feel like when Bummer and or Mentor gets in, especially Mentor, it's gonna be a solo home run given up somewhere.
Yeah, Dylan Lee has also not looked
Dylan
great.
Lee, yeah, he's another
Yeah, I mean, I can go through the roster right now. Let's just look at our pitchers.
one.
So AJ Smith-Shawver apparently did have a better game. His last game in AAA, gave up like no runs, 2 hits or
I
something
think
like
they'll
that.
pull him up after Darius Vines. I mean, and Darius Vines will have a bad game. I mean, I mean, he's
Yeah,
young. He's gonna have a bad game.
yeah. So I think, look, you're working with some mixture of Freed,
Sale,
Sale,
Morton,
Morton,
Lopez,
Lopez. Who knows how long Lopez can continue, how well he's doing. And then, if Darius Vines, who knows if he can continue. I mean, that may just be one game against a bad Houston Astros team. AJ Smith Shawver, maybe they'll call up Hurston Waldrop at some point. I'm sure they're going to give um, All Star Bryce Elder a chance at some point. Uh, but I mean, it seems like every year for the past 4 or 5 years, this whole fifth starter spot, like we can't just have
oh,
five
yeah,
guys who
oh,
couldn't go this season.
God forbid spend money or trade for a 5th starter, like, 'cause
Oh, yeah, and if you do, it's gonna be a Jake Odorizzi or some or
yeah, uh,
who was it that we got in
Yanni
2019?
Chirinos,
Yanni Chirinos. Who did we get in 2019 or 2021? Excuse me.
Drew
Um,
Smiley,
no, we got Drew Smiley, but we got he won the Cy Young in like 2015 with the
R.A.
Astros.
Dickey. No, 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 Dallas Keuchel.
Dallas Keuchel, who hit
We got him in
who
2019. You're
yeah.
right. Yeah, yeah. I remember the year we got. I remember it was the year before we went to the playoffs in 2017 or 2018. It was we got R.A. Dickey and Bartolo Colon, and
That was weird. That was R.A. Dickey on the Braves. That was weird.
we had like Brandon McCarthy. It was just like a bunch of old timers out there.
Um, all right, so let me see what else we got going on in baseball. I mean, there's really not much. We're kind of in the point now where
We can wrap it
season's
up.
just going on. Yeah. All right, let's wrap things up here.
Let me. I
Let's see.
want to start something new at
Let's get
the
this
end
thing
of.
going.
Let me start something new at the end. Instead of we're gonna do a draft of Michaels. Can you give me a new show for everybody to watch, a new show or movie that you have watched this week? You're like, hey, that's a good recommendation. Y'all should watch this movie.
So you and I, for the past 4 or 5 days, have been talking the most recent Fallout
All
series that
out
came out. If you played the Fallout games, definitely watch it. 100% watch it. If you have not played the games, you can still watch it. I recommend playing a game
playing the game,
beforehand,
but
though, because
those
you're not going
the
to
show
understand
is good.
much.
Walt Giggins is Goggins.
He's,
He's
yeah,
awesome.
he was great. It's a really good show, but you kind of have to know
The
some of the
lore.
lore and the aspects and the objects that are in the world and stuff. I'm gonna be honest. I haven't watched any movies recently. It's kind of been a slow week for me. I've been playing a lot of games. I got really into gaming, so I got me like a gaming mouse and stuff. I'm a total nerd. Well, have you seen anything recently?
I'll tell you a good movie series. I watched it again because the new movie's coming out. I watched the Planet of the Apes. series with James Franco.
You
Good.
watched the most recent one?
I watched the most recent ones. I watched the last 3 of that trilogy, the Rise of the Planet of the Apes, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, and The War for the Planet of the Apes. I don't know what the new one's called, but it's set 300 years after the last movie. But it's in that little series and all that. So I mean I like the Planet of the Apes movie. I remember as a kid watching the one with Marky Mark, the one at the end where Abraham Lincoln is an ape.
Have you seen 2005's War of the Worlds?
That the one with Joaquin Phoenix and Tom Cruise, or
I think so, yes. Tom Cruise was in it.
I've seen bits and pieces of it. I've not seen the full thing. I've seen Scary Movie 3, that's basically the
This is basically I've been seeing a lot of rumblings on TikTok about the uh, new War of the Worlds that was in 2023. I was wondering if you had seen
I have
the
not. I wanna watch
2005
the
one.
new movie Civil War. Silver.
Civil War. I've
Yes.
heard good and bad things about Civil War.
The bad things I've heard is people saying they didn't take, like, a political stance with it, like, they this was, like, their perfect opportunity, and they never did. I was like, "So they just made a movie and you didn't like that?"
Yep. I just they gotta have a stance. They gotta have something to fight for. Well, guys, I think that does it for episode 32. Heads Up Play. Be sure, of course, to always follow us on Instagram, TikTok, X, XXXX, not XXX, but just X. Okay.
Oh, we don't wanna get too dirty.
Yeah. Yeah. We don't want to go there. Now, maybe one day we'll start an OnlyFans and we can get there, but that's only if you guys are into it. Just comment. Should Sweaty Boy and Cowboy start an OnlyFans? Maybe that's our question of the day. Drop it in
That's
the comments below. What did you pay for it? We're not doing a Patreon. We're doing an
so
OnlyFans.
how much?
I mean, I'll give you guys a sneak peek right now. Ooh, that's all you see.
That's
That's
how
all you see. All right. Episode 32. We out.
we